Every Friday from 3:05 to 4 on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM. It's the Friday Sports Scene with Keith and Koivisto. Talking local sports every Friday. Getting you ready for the weekend and what lies ahead. High school sports, UConn, ECSU, and more. The Friday Sports Scene with Keith and Koivisto is brought to you by your local Dunkin' stores. Route 32 South Windham, 1015 Main Street, Willimantic, 1575 West Main Street, and 407 Jackson Street. The Friday Sports Scene. Now, here's Keith C. Rice and Jan Koivisto.
Thank you, Eddie Bishop. Gorgeous day to be talking sports with you, local sports, here on 14 WILI, 95.3 FM. I almost said Willimantic Today Facebook. That's another show, Hometown Threads. The WILI Radio YouTube channel. Please subscribe. It's a free subscription. Just go to, we're all on YouTube these days. Just search WILI Radio, and you'll be able to watch the show. That's if you're listening live. So next time you go to YouTube, I'm not telling you to do that while you're driving. Don't go to YouTube while you're behind the wheel. But next time you're on YouTube, search WILI Radio, and you can watch not just the Dunkin' Friday Sports Scene, but a lot of our great afternoon talk shows here on WILI. As mentioned, a beautiful Friday, April the 24th, closing in on the end of the month. Lots of sports going on. Hello, Coach Jan Koivisto.
Great to be here. A lot of good sports going on right now.
As you said last week, it's a great time of year. NBA, NHL playoffs, NFL draft. Nick Erlinson, you were kind of all over the NFL draft compared to Jan and myself last night because I was out at Trolley doing Trolley Pub Trivia. But you saw a lot of the NFL draft. Any quick takeaways?
Yeah, I think the Jets did pretty well, actually. I thought they should have took a quarterback early, but with the guys they got, taking a tight end, Sadiq, was a little questionable because they already have a good tight end, but
the kid
can't argue
Oregon,
the athleticism on that kid. Yeah.
Oregon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was at Georgia Tech. Oregon, yeah, I heard a lot of good things. He's a pretty big tight end, too.
And the Rams thinking ahead, I think, was good,
Ty
too.
Simpson? I heard McVay wasn't too happy with it. I heard him and management weren't seeing eye to eye on that, but you can tell they're looking ahead towards past Matthew Stafford down the road. But I hear Simpson's a great guy, a little bit on the short side. Played at Alabama. I don't know. Thoughts on Ty Simpson?
I was going to comment on Sadiq, actually, because I read a lot about him because he was rumored to go to the Ravens. And he's supposed to be a stud. And then the Jets got Cooper. I think maybe the best wide receiver. I know somebody went ahead of him, but later in the draft. I think the Jets, you heard it here first, maybe have the best offense in football. And they hand in the keys of a Rolls Royce to a guy that should be driving a Dodge Charger.
Geno Smith.
So I don't know. It's odd to me, and maybe he can play with all the weapons. But like you said, two really good tight ends. They already had a good receiver. Reese in the backfield.
Yeah.
Now another receiver. I mean, they're loaded on offense. Boy, I wish they had a quarterback.
I think there's still a couple good ones out there that they could get, too.
Yeah, true. And I heard somebody on FAN say this earlier, too. I think it might have been Tiki Barber. He said, he kind of laughed as he said it. He said, I'm banking on, I think he said banking, I don't want to misquote him, Geno Smith having a good year. Now, Tiki knows his football. You never know. As Jan just said, a lot of weapons the Jets have. We all know that. I'm not sold on the coach either, though, to Aaron Glenn. I'm not really sold on the coach either. I think the coach and the quarterback, and those are two big pieces, are pretty iffy for the Jets. Other than that, hey, you never know. They put it now, Drake May's much improved. Still got Josh Allen. That's... who knows what the Dolphins are going to do? That's still kind of a tough division.
It's a tough division, but maybe they do draft a quarterback, like you said, in day 2. And if they do, it's probably more for next year, I would think. And Geno can maybe hand the keys off. And this year they just because all those guys, all those offensive guys that are potentially studs are all young. The tight end they drafted last year. Garrett Wilson's in his 3rd or 4th year, and Breece Hall.
Yeah, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson.
3rd year. So.
I mean, I'm trying to think who down the road. The only quarterback name that comes to mind is Arch Manning, who could be the first quarterback to go in next year's draft. Will he want to play for the Jets? Let's see. Eli played for the Giants. Peyton played for the Colts and the Broncos. You know how that Manning family likes to get involved and say, if Dad, I don't want to go there or whatever. That's what Eli did with the Chargers. talked his way out of playing for the San Diego Chargers, and next thing you know, he's with the New York Giants. So anyway, that's next year. Look at that. We're talking NFL draft right out of the chute.
There you go.
So we get that out of the way. But yeah, and the Patriots, this will be in the rundown, so we're kind of repeating ourselves here. Patriots moved up to 28, and they got the offensive tackle from Utah, Caleb Lomu, I don't know if I'm saying his name, Lomu, which Nick said right before we went on the air here, is not good at blocking the run, right?
That's
stopping the run.
Yeah, that's what the scouting reports are saying, that he's not a good run blocker, but he's a good pass blocker, and he gave up 0 sacks last season.
Okay. Well, I got to admit, I haven't watched a lot of all the University of Utah games. They are on from time to time, and I lived out there, so
I watched 0.
I know. The Utes have a pretty good football program from time to time, but I don't recall watching a lot of Utah games this year. But all right, so they got some more protection for May. We shall see. More NFL draft all weekend long. If you're into that kind of thing, we know Mike Vrabel is into that kind of thing. He's into many things apparently, and he'll be missing day 3 of the draft. Geez, you want to go seek counseling, Coach Vrabel? How about missing the entire draft? That's a whole other story. But go figure. The Patriots caught cheating once again. All right, let's get to the rundown because we got Lou Merloni coming up. Yes, the Lou Merloni from Nesson. Going to talk Red Sox. And then we got Coventry softball coach Jeff LaHouse will join us on the show as well. Let's do the Duncan Friday Sports Scene Rundown. Officially kick things off here for this April the 24th. We'll start with Wyndham Baseball. Tough start for Hags. Coach Mike Haggerty, 1-8 start for the Whips. Wasn't a good week either. Losses to New London, 27-1, and then 23-2 to Ledyard this week. And they're back at it Monday at Parish Hill. Wyndham softball 2-5 under Coach Jack Risley. Beat Parish Hill 19-11 yesterday. They'll be at Fitch today at 4. Wyndham Tech baseball 3-4. They split this week, winning 18-3 at Grasso, losing at Norwich Tech 6-4. They're at Wilcox Tech today. Excuse me. Wyndham Tech softball 5-3. They lost the other day to Norwich Tech 12-9, and they're playing at Wilcox Tech today, just like the boys. E.O. Smith baseball. Hunter Hamlin's Panthers are 3-4, riding a 2-game skid. They lost 6-4 to Lewis Mills the other day. They're hosting Windsor as we speak. E.O. Smith softball at 2-6. Lost at Southington the other day. They're home for Windsor today. Coventry, where all they do is win in any sport these days, it seems like. Coventry baseball, check this out. Baseball and softball, kind of like basketball and volleyball. Baseball team has won 5 straight. They stand at 6-1. A couple of shutouts this week for the Patriots, 16-0 at home against Windsor Locks. 8-0 at East Grand. They beat East Granby on the road 8-0, and they're at East Windsor this afternoon. Coventry softball, they've won 7 of their first 8. Can't wait to speak with Coach Jeff LaHouse at 3:35. They had their first loss of the season and a close one at NFA on Wednesday, 4-3. Bounced right back, though, to win the next day, 11-3 at Bolton, and they'll be at Tolland on Monday. Excuse me. Lyman baseball, 5-4 after splitting this week. Lost to St. Bernard on Tuesday. Road win at Griswold yesterday, 6-4. Lyman softball stands at 5-3. They've won 4 straight. Wins over Wyndham and Weaver this week, both rather handily as well. Big weekend up at Wyndham High. Sunday is the induction of the 2026 Wyndham High Athletic Hall of Fame. I believe Wayno is the MC for that. 2 p.m. reception at the high school, followed by the 3 p.m. ceremony. Congratulations to all the people going in there, including the 1968 Wyndham High football team. So it's a big day up at Wyndham on Sunday. First round of the NFL draft we mentioned is in the books. Fernando Mendoza, quarterback from Indiana, goes number 1 to the Las Vegas Raiders. Jets, as we mentioned, picked edge from Texas Tech, David Bailey. Giants went with linebacker Arvell Reese from Ohio State at number 5. Really can't go wrong if you draft someone from Ohio State, right? You guys agree with that?
Except Andy Katzenmoyer.
Yeah. And then they went with the offensive tackle from the U. Of course, talking about Miami, they went with the offensive tackle number 10. We mentioned what the Pats did. They moved up to 28 to get the kid from Utah. And we also got into Mike Vrabel, will be missing tomorrow, day 3 of the draft, to seek counseling. NBA playoffs. Knicks down 2-1 to the Hawks after C.J. McCollum did him in again, 109-108, hitting a shot with like 12 and a half seconds to go. I absolutely love it. Game 4 down there is tomorrow at 6. with Atlanta leading 2-1. Raptors on the board in their series after blowing out the Cavs in Toronto, 126-104, 33 points each for Harrison Barnes and R.J. Barrett. Late last night, Timberwolves knock off the Nuggets in Game 3, 113-96. And tonight you got the Celtics and Philly, Game 3 at 7 o'clock on Prime. We talked. I did not see Tuesday night's game. I had somebody updating me at Fenton with the score because they didn't have Peacock on over there. But I'm glad I kind of missed it. But I heard the Celtics blew a big first quarter lead and went on to lose rather handily to Philadelphia.
Yeah, I
Tuesday
pretty
night.
much watched it start to finish, and you would have hated it because they were firing up threes, which I know you don't love. They took 50 of them, and I'm a fan of the three. But if they took 40 and maybe went to the hole hard the other 10 times, it's just a different game to me. And they just seem to just settle for those threes. And an open three is so much different than I got two hands in my face, but I'm going to shoot it anyway.
And I heard, I watched the 76ers podcast, a couple of guys that really know their stuff, and I want to see what their angle was. And they said Philly passed the ball really, really well. So it sounds to me also like the Celtics just mailed it in.
Yeah, and VJ and Maxey were both
VJ
great.
had a great game, yes.
I think they combined for like 60, I think 30 and 29 or something. So, I mean, listen, the Celtics are the better team, and it's all about them. Just be smarter on the threes. That's all I want them to do.
Yeah,
Take 40. Take 40 of them.
This time last year was the same way. It gets a little frustrating, but I like the 3 too. But you're right. Sometimes you got to drive to the hole. And if you live and die by the 3, that's the Missoula approach. But we'll see what happens in Philly tonight. That series tied a game apiece. Lakers head to Houston up 2-0, 10:30 tonight. Got the Spurs in Portland without Wemby. Did anybody hear? He was concussed. He's not coming back tonight, I don't think, right?
Yeah, I
Victor
don't know.
Wembanyama. So that series tied at 1.
Didn't look like a good fall.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I didn't see an update though.
NHL playoffs. Bruins lose at home to Buffalo 3-1 last night. Sabres take a 2-1 lead there. Game 4 is until Sunday at 2. Red Sox now in dead last in the AL East at 9-16, 7 games behind the first place Yankees after the Yanks finished off a sweep 4-2. Sox are in Baltimore tonight, 7:05 first pitch, 6:05 pregame on WILI. Brian Bayo looked to stop the bleeding. And Nesson's Lou Merloni will join us in just a sec here. Yankees are in Houston. Mets welcoming the Rockies. And how about the Mets snapping that 12-game losing streak the other night? Of course, the Friday Sports Scene runs on Dunkin'. Big thanks to our local Dunkin' stores, 407 Jackson Street, Willimantic, 1015 Main Street, 1575 West Main Street. You can check out stuff like the Cocoa Cloud Latte. Don't forget about that $5 meal deal. The Golden Chocolate Classic Donut and the Caramel Chocolate Protein Latte. Just some of the stuff. Big thanks to our local Dunkin' stores. J. Matt Rupar, before we get to Lou Merloni, what do you got coming up on Homegrown at 4:05?
Let's see. I got an interview with the band Afghan Haze. I aired that back in November, but I'm playing it again. They got a new song they've recorded, so I'm playing that. This band Headroom and this other band called Soft Spot. They're like Alice in Chains, kind of, so
Very
I like
cool.
them. Yeah.
All right, so, of course, Homegrown follows the Dunkin' Friday Sports Scene every Friday at 4:05 here on WILI. And, of course, you could watch this show on the WILI Radio YouTube channel. Are we connected with the great Lou Merloni?
That one.
All right, live from Crab Cake Country. Let's bring him in here. Lou Merloni from Nesson. Lou, doing a great job this year doing the TV thing. Of course, we had you on the radio last year, and we're a longtime Red Sox affiliate, WILI, but of course we'll be tuning in tonight, hoping for better news. Thanks for a few minutes down in Baltimore this afternoon.
Yeah, you got it. No problem at all.
So it's been a tough go of it, as we all know. 9-16, not the start we envisioned.
Yeah.
We got Jan Koivisto here, Nick Erlinson here on the Dunkin' Friday Sports Scene as well. Where do we start? I guess we'll start with the offense. I mean, we could start with Garrett Crochet, who's got a 7.88 ERA. We all know that's gonna improve. But yeah, let's start with the offense and the fact that this team can't hit a lick. I mean, what do you got to say about that?
Well, yeah, it's been pretty quiet. It's one of the worst offenses in baseball. So you're actually seeing their worst. I don't think they're this bad. I just don't know what the ceiling is. You're not hitting home runs. It's really been a struggle, because they're not making guys work. Like you talk about, in zone swinging percentage. It's almost like they're one of the worst in baseball in that category. So they're not swinging when they're getting pitches to hit, and then they expand after that. It's weak contact, so it's the lack of power. Dead last, tied for last in home runs, last in slugging percentage, second to last in ISO power. So it's just an offense that when you watch, you're sort of like, all right, hit by pitch and a walk, that's a rally. And you're just looking for something. You had a 3-game series against the New York Yankees, and not once, or I should say one time in that entire series, you had 2 hits in 1 inning in 3 games.
I thought they were going to get shut out at one point in that series. And before we get to Jan, I know Jan has something. I was hosting something in a bar last night. We had the game on, and I'm not trying to be negative. It was 2-1 late in the game, and I said, and they took Tully out at that point. I'm like, I think they're going to blow this. And I was hoping I was wrong, and it wasn't the case. But, yeah, that's an interesting stat that you bring up, Lou. Jeez.
Staying on
it was the 9th inning, actually, in that game, too, where they got back-to-back hits to make it 4-1 instead of 4-0. So it's hard. You're down 2 or 3 runs early on. I mean, and they just you don't know if they got the firepower to come back.
Staying on the offense for a second, and I know it's early. I felt like you early on that people that were denigrating the offense were wrong, and they Sox always figure out a way to be top 5 or so in the AL. But do you think part of it is like it's a different lineup every night? And I know we're reaching because no one's really hitting, but do they got to settle in on a lineup a little bit maybe?
No, I don't think it's settling in on a lineup as much as it is, just the guys you have and in that lineup right now. And a lot of it, honestly, has to do with, this baseball team has been a very young team for about 3 or 4 years. You've seen a lot of young players come up through the system. And this was, you kind of felt like, okay, this is the year that maybe you blend that youth with some veterans. And it really didn't happen. As a matter of fact, I think you get younger, by starting Durbin and Meyer right from day one, and Anthony from day one, and Narvaez behind the plate. 4 of your 9 hitters have 1 year of service time or less. So there's a lot of inexperience going through opening week, for the first time for at least 3 of those 4 players. And things can snowball. Things can really turn on you. So Boer's trying to find it fit. And, of course, having 5 guys in the outfield and only can play 4 of them is not really helping getting, those guys in the groove either.
Lou Merloni from Nessa joining us on the Duncan Friday Sports Scene here on 14 WILI 95.3 FM, talking Sox, obviously. To your point, Lou, about the inexperience, this brings you back to I think we all had our fingers crossed as Sox fans right before the season started, they were going to go get another bat. I know a lot of people were hoping that was the case. Do you know why they didn't, and who they should have maybe picked up, or who you liked would have seen in that lineup?
Well, yeah, you're kind of hitting on the root of it, right? Because when the season's over and you watch playoff baseball in October, I think everybody realizes, including this front office, because they came out and said it, that you need slug, you need home runs. That's what wins in the playoffs. You faced Schoolville the other day. He kind of lost it for 3 hitters, and then he got out of it. So it's like, while good pitchers, they make one mistake, like Narvaez, solo home run off Schlittler yesterday. It was a bad pitch. He didn't make many, but when he did, you made him pay. So you have to be able to get those quick runs on the board by, hitting with power. And it was talked about, and it was something that they were going after, and they just, they missed out on Pete Alonso. And I think Alex Bregman caught a lot of people off guard here that he did not come back. There was other attempts to get other power into this bat. I mean, I like Wilson Contreras. I think he's a nice addition, but it's just didn't go that next step. And when that door closed, then they went out and signed Ranger Suarez. And this is where we get into this run prevention. It was a clear pivot from offense to pitching. The problem is the pitching that you're supposed to lean on, this rotation, I think they're 26th or 27th in baseball with their ERA. Mm-hmm. So when you're relying on that and that kind of falters, then things can kind of start off the year the way they have.
Yeah, and the pitching was pretty solid, I thought, against the Yanks, but then there was just no hitting. But so I'm an optimistic Sox fan. I think you are, too, for the most part. It does give me hope that the American League is all 500 except for the Yanks.
Yep.
Are you still feeling pretty optimistic?
Yeah, I think what you need to see, though, is just sort of like you've seen it now for 2 or 3 weeks, and you need someone to get you back saying, okay, you know what, yeah, this guy is pretty good. And to me, it starts with a guy like Jarren Duran. It's been a tough stretch. He's looked better the last couple of nights, but somehow I got to find a way to get him in the lineup every night and figure everything else out. The rest of the outfield, whatever. He needs to play every day because, you need to start looking for upside, right? Like when everyone's at their best, what do they look like? And Jaron Duran's the only guy in this lineup the last 3 years that's received MVP votes. So I've got to get him going. I'd like to see him leading off because it's just you need something. We know Story can be hot and cold. We're watching Contreras. We don't know who Durbin is. We don't know who Meyer is. Something because we don't know. So I think a good series offensively, and it can kind of open your eyes and be like, and we could sit back hopefully in a week or two and be like, we kind of knew it wasn't as bad as it looked and hoping it would be better, and now it is. So hopefully it takes a little bit of time. Not much time.
Well, you mentioned Duran and Story. I agree with you. I think Duran should be, once he gets hitting, hopefully soon, should lead off. Let's touch on Roman Anthony, and then I want to get to Garrett Crochet. Again, I'm not really that concerned about Crochet unless there's something we don't know about. But Roman Anthony, speaking of mysterious, what is going on? I mean, and there's been talk of are the Red Sox as an organization, are they, I don't want to say are they messing with this young talent? Christian Campbell, that's a whole other story. But are you a little concerned, Lou, about Roman Anthony? Is everything okay with him?
Well, I think currently, he's it's his first time starting the year in the big leagues. And, when you do that, opening day, I think he got 3 hits. And then, for the next couple of games, you don't get some hits, or you mix in 1 or 2, and you're thinking, I'm okay. And then all of a sudden, you mix in 3 games or so without a base hit and mix in some strikeouts, and you look up there and you're hitting 200. So, opening 2 weeks of the big leagues things can snowball on you quickly and get into your head and start questioning the things you're doing. And there's a lot of pressure on this kid. I mean, you put him in the leadoff spot, and rightfully so, given what you saw last year, but still a lot to ask of him without those major offensive additions. And let's give credit to this league. I mean, they scour. It's like, when the season's over, everyone's like, let's look at all my hits. It's like, no, look at your at-bats, because that's how they're going to get you out next year, when you got out. So they're trying to abuse some certain areas. He will make the adjustment. I think he'll be fine. Right now he's dealing with a back. I don't know what's going on with that. Looks like he's missing his 3rd straight game. So get him healthy and hopefully get him in the lineup and just slow everything down a little bit for him.
Now, we know that their offense and the pitching is struggling, but what is your opinion on the automated ball strike challenge system? That hasn't gone very well for the Red Sox either this year.
No, the second game of the year, they used up all their challenges, I think, in the top of the 3rd, and they lost a 1-run game. I think it really cost them, especially with C.B. Buckner behind the plate. and I sort of feel like since then, they're hesitant. Like, since then, they're kind of questioning themselves. There's been teams that have been extremely aggressive. The Red Sox with ABS, the Red Sox have not been one of them. They may have 12 or 13 calls overturned, where some teams have 30, 35 calls overturned. So, these players, they've discussed it. They've talked to them about the leverage spots in games, when to use it, when's the right time to take a chance. You like to have one late in the game, but still, early in the game, there's still a high leverage spot and opportunity to score, and they seem hesitant to use it. So I hopefully they get a little more comfortable, get a little more confident with it, and be able to use it to their advantage like other teams are. They're not very aggressive with it right now.
Lou Merloni, nice enough to join us here on this Friday afternoon on the Duncan Friday Sports Scene on WILI as we get ready for Sox and Orioles. 6:05 pregame on WILI, 7:05 first pitch, of course. You can watch Lou and Dave O'Brien on NESN. We got a few more minutes, Lou. We know you got to get going, but I want to know if... in your mind, do you think everyone... I know this is not the Mets where they lost 12 in a row and the sky is falling in New York. It could be worse. You could be a Mets fan. But, I think everyone is safe. I mean, I've always been an Alex Cora guy. Andrew Bailey. I think all jobs are pretty much safe. I don't want to get into Breslow right now because it is only April 24th. But as far as job security for everyone, what's your outlook on that?
I think it's... I never like talking about people and their jobs because I've always felt like in playing this game, I've been a player and I've seen coaches lose jobs. I've hitting coaches, pitching coaches, managers, and it always goes back to the players. No. It always goes back to the roster. You cannot tell me that these guys are playing up to their potential right now individually. So this is an individual game. They got to figure this thing out. But I still think, their staff is a very good staff. It's really hard teaching, especially in today's baseball game, where I don't think there's any real fundamentals or much of the game being taught in the minor leagues, more so like about bullpens and spin rates and exit velocities, that when these kids come up, these coaches in the big league level now are forced or have to teach kids how to play baseball. And and that really has never really been the case. So there's a lot on their plate. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully things turn and we don't have to have those discussions.
Well, one more thing from me, Crochet. You're not worried. I'm assuming, right? I mean, Garrett Crochet is obviously a stud all around. I mean, we know we saw what he did last year.
Mm-hmm.
Is the 7.88 ERA? Jump out at you? Is it worry you at all? Is there something? Is he okay?
Well, I do want to see more of him. Like, I wouldn't say that there's absolutely no concerns at all with him. I'd like to think that Minnesota game was just a wash. That game against Milwaukee, I even said in the broadcast that was at the time, I'm like, it's the first time I've ever seen him come out of a game as a member of the Red Sox and actually look tired. Yeah, I've seen him go 7 innings and get pulled, and he looks like he could throw the 8th and 9th last year. This year, he got tired. And Minnesota was the next start. Was there wear and tear after that? Just tired, not locating? Maybe. The last one, I thought he was great, 4 2/3 at 8 strikeouts. And then with 2 outs, it was home run, walk, single, homer. I want to see him put a complete game to make me feel a little bit better about it. So there's a little bit of concern there with him just because of that. And, when you struggle out of the gate like this, and you're like, hey, he went, big innings jump last year. They really rode him hard, at times. And so I just want to make sure that it make me feel better. And I think hopefully he goes out there and throws the ball well here on Sunday or Saturday.
And let's go get those birds this weekend. Lou, you have been a big fan all these years. I'm sure I'm speaking for Jan and Nick as well. Thanks for a few minutes, and thanks for joining us down in Baltimore. And have a great weekend. We'll be checking you out over the weekend.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you. Anytime.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. The great Lou Merloni from Nesson joining us from Baltimore as you get ready for Sox Orioles. Again, you could check out Lou and Dave on the TV broadcast, or telecast, I guess you should say, on Nesson. And, of course, we got the game for you on WILI starting at 6:05 tonight. On the other side, we're going to talk Coventry girls softball with Coach Jeff LaHouse. As I said earlier, all they do in Coventry is win, no matter what sport it is. What's in the water in Coventry?
Unbelievable.
So we'll talk with Jeff LaHouse. Just a few. As the Duncan Friday Sports Scene rolls on for this April the 24th on WILI.
This is Ian Eagle, and this is the Duncan Friday Sports Scene on 14 WILI and 95.3 FM.
All right. Thank you, Ian Eagle. I'm still jacked up, and big thanks to Wayno for getting that. Moments before the national championship a few weeks ago in Indianapolis, Ian Eagle joining the Duncan. We should get him on the Duncan Friday Sports Scene. That'd be if we ever get Ian Eagle on. Oh my God!
Awesome.
Talk about a fanboy.
Yeah, well,
right here.
he was. I watched the end of the Hawks game last night.
He did Hawks Knicks last night.
Yeah, and he seemed like he was. He is obviously a Knick fan, right?
I would think so. He's from New York. Yeah.
He didn't seem too happy when CJ hit that shot there.
He did a
But
great
that
call,
was
though.
He was great. He is great.
Yeah.
You can't really. I just know he's a New York guy, but no, he calls it as pretty even as he can for sure.
Right, and his son Noah, who I don't know if he came basically right out of Syracuse and was doing radio for the LA Clippers, like right out of college. And Noah's fantastic too. Now he's the lead voice for I think Saturday Night Football on NBC for. He's the lead college football.
Well,
voice.
Ian was probably pretty young when he was calling.
Well, don't
games.
forget,
He's been doing
he was
it for a long time.
He was his first gig, I think. Well, I don't want to say his first gig. He was producer for Mike and the Mad Dog back in the day. So, anyway, the Eagle family definitely some serious pipes and great play-by-play guys, no doubt about it.
That Eagles, that Hawks Knicks series looks like it's going to be a heck of a series, and the Knicks are trailing. And I'm pulling for the Hawks because that would be easier for the Celtics.
CJ McCollum, let me tell you,
crazy.
And they're calling him a villain in New York.
Yeah, he didn't like that.
I'm a nice guy. I'm not a villain. Big shot last night by CJ. And Celtics got to get it together tonight in Philly. Look, I mean, this shouldn't even be a series, and they should be up 2-0. But we'll see what happens tonight in Philadelphia. Again, that's a 7 o'clock tip on Prime Video. But right now on the Duncan Friday Sports Scene, it's a pleasure to welcome in the head softball coach for the Coventry girls. First time here, so I apologize. Jeff LaHouse, right?
Yes.
Hi, Jeff.
How are you?
Keith C. Rice. We got Nick Erlinson, the coach Jan Koivisto from the Chronicle here. Thanks for a few minutes, and congratulations on all the success. And we've been doing the show for a few months now, right? A few months.
Yeah, 6 months, 8
6 months.
Yeah.
That's right. It's been a little longer than that. Here on WILI on Friday afternoons, and we always say, "What's in the water in Coventry?" Because it doesn't matter what sport it is. All you guys do is win over there, and you've won 7 of your first 8, Coach LaHouse, and congratulations on that. Speak about the season so far and that 7-1 start.
Yeah, the kids are. We got a really good. So we got a good program over here. So, what helps with the success of it is it starts right from grade school. We have a lot of interest in the sports because of the success. The younger kids they kind of dream of getting in high school and being on one of these teams. So, it really starts at home with the parents. But going to this season, we got a really good team this year. We just played probably the signature game of the year against NFA, and even though it was a 4-3 loss, that's a really good team, and it's a game that could have went either way. Our kids did really, really good. So
it's a nice little measuring stick, I guess you could say, that NFA game.
Yep.
Take us through that. I know you said it was a tough 4-3 loss, first loss of the year. Were you guys up in that game at all? I mean, tell us how that game went.
Yep. It was they were up 1-0, and then one of my senior captain catcher, Brooke Blewin, she hit a home run with 2 kids on base, so put us up 3-1, and then they picked away at us and went up 4-3, and it was 4-3 in the third inning, and the score never changed. The pitching on both sides, the defense on both sides, making great plays, and it wasn't a lot of strikeouts. I mean, both teams were hitting the ball hard. The defense really came through on both sides. Phenomenal plays, both sides.
Well, NFA is double L, too, and I know you go and get that tough schedule, so you're prepared.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken, in your first state title, your only blemish was a loss to NFA in 23, right?
Yep.
So I want to ask you about Class S a little bit, because it feels like there's some heavyweights, Hale Ray, North Branford, St. Paul, and you. What are you looking for as you? I know I'm skipping ahead, but I know you're playing for the state title. So what are you looking for in Class
every year?
S?
That's the goal. So there's a big game going on today where all eyes are on the scoreboard against North Branford, and Hale Ray are playing today. Kind of like a little measuring stick. To see where they're at. With us, we haven't had too many hard games except for the NFA game, which, it doesn't help. And so that's our measuring stick, saying, all right, the way we played, win or lose, I don't even care about that. Means that, especially in Class S, there's nobody that we can't play with. After that game, that just proved it to us.
Talk about how the Coach Jeff LaHouse from the Coventry girls softball team joining us here on the Duncan Friday Sports Scene on WILI Willimantic, and talk a little about how the girls just bounced back the next day with an 11-3 win over Bolton. That's got to make you happy, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the hardest adjustment was the pitching. So we went from facing 65 mile an hour pitching to about 40.
Wow.
So. It was the first go around. We popped up the infield a lot until we finally figured out the timing, and then we it adjusted and started hitting the ball hard.
You mentioned Brooke Blewin, and I was talking to our sports guy Johnny Uricchio, and he mentioned that she had an 8 RBI game there a couple games back.
Yes, she's hitting the ball hard. One of my other coaches, my assistant coaches. So Brooke hit one of the most impressive ones. Wasn't even a home run. A couple weeks ago, she hit a line drive to the fence that didn't get more than 4 feet off the ground, and it never bent. It hit the fence on a rope. And he had said to me, and he's been coaching a long time, and he said, I believe that's the hardest hit ball I've ever seen in my life. And you heard that ball go through the infield.
Too bad you don't have some exit velocity stats on that.
Exactly. I mean, that was it didn't bend at all. It was a straight line right to the fence, and it got there quick.
Coach, do you see any of these girls playing next level? I don't want to jump the gun here, but I mean, can you see any of these girls going like D3, maybe even D2? I mean,
oh yeah. Well, Brooke is committed to Iona Division I.
Oh my goodness, that's great! Wow.
Yep.
I went to Iona actually way back in the day.
Yeah. And then one of my juniors, Lila Talaga, she's committed to University of New Haven, Division One.
Jan's got a University of New Haven sweatshirt.
Yeah, you'll have to look up. My daughter is assistant basketball coach at University of New Haven. So
no kidding.
She'll have to say hello.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have 2 kids over at Eastern right now, Liz Mitchell and Julia Boya.
Wow.
From here. They're killing it over there. Yeah, we've had. I mean, ever since I've coached here, we've had like 1 or 2 kids a year go to play college.
What is? First of all, congratulations on all the success and the athletes that have come out of that town. Speak a little about, and then I want to ask you about yourself. But what is going on with? I think you spoke about how the kids are raised in Coventry, whatever. But the overall success with all the athletic teams at that school is just amazing. From basketball to volleyball, and I know you said the parents have a lot to do with it, but it sounds like you got some pretty good athletes in that town.
Well, we do, and so they all the sports here, they all put on clinics. We do the same. We put on a big clinic in Coventry for younger kids, and it's just like and what you do. The key to it is not just us coaches running it. They're working with the high school players one-on-one, and to the little kids, the high school players, they're softball gods. You know what I mean? So that's what they want. So we get anywhere from 50 to 60 kids at these clinics every year, and they're at the games. They know all the high schoolers by name. I mean, they're just dreaming about being on this high school team one day. And then, another big key to success, and we're lucky to have it, but it's what the kids do outside of practice. It's what you do at home. You do so much in practice, but it's all that extra work that you do. If you're in the you come up to the field with Dad on a Sunday morning and he's doing soft toss and you're hitting 100 balls. We got a bunch of kids that do that on their own. So that's the key. Being hungry.
You're a coach, and of course, one of my co-hosts here on the show, I don't know if you've heard, is Jan Koivisto from the Chronicle, but he's also a coach of the Plainfield girls basketball team. So you guys have a lot in common as far as the whole coaching thing. Tell us a little about your background. How long you've been coaching Coventry girls softball, what you did before that, and tell us a little about Jeff LaHouse.
Well, so I grew up playing sports my whole life, and then, of course, playing men's softball. My daughter, we signed her up when she was 4 years old, and I'm like, I played softball my whole life. I'd be a good coach. I was a horrible coach. I didn't know anything about coaching. It's like it has nothing to do with how good you were. And I learned a lot. I mean, you kind of learn as you go. A big part of coaching is watching what other coaches do. Even if there's a coach out there that you're not a fan of, there's some stuff that you may steal from him that he has success with. And you kind of build your own, your own scheme of things. It's my daughter went up. She played all up through. The high school job opened up. And, a couple people asked me, so I applied for it. And she was a sophomore at that time, and I got hired to come in and coach. She went on to play. She played at University of St. Joe's in West Hartford.
Really?
Yeah, yep. She played over there. And then, people were asking me, well, what's your plan when she graduates? I said, I'm having fun. I don't have an exit plan. And here, she's been out of college now for 3 years, so I'm still here coaching. But you know what? I love the kids. One thing that myself and my other 2 coaches have in common is the relationship that we develop with the kids. We're not screamers, we're not yellers. Everything is about teaching, understanding. When the kids come out on the field, they're not nervous to make a mistake. It's like in any sport, you can't be afraid to fail. If you think you're going to get yelled at or something to fail, you'll never put 100% in because of the recourse of not. Of failing. So these guys, they're all in, and they know, if they make a mistake, there's not going to be any recourse against them. It's a mistake. Learn from it. That's it.
That's a great point. So, especially baseball and softball is a failure sport. You're going to fail more often than you succeed.
Absolutely.
One question I have for you. The last question is: you had made a couple state semifinals in your time, and then you finally won your first state title. It must be nice to say your first state title in 23. So take me back to that 23 team a little bit, and what were the special things about that team?
The one that we won?
Yeah, your first state title.
Yep. So, you know what? Everything comes with leadership, right? So Liz Mitchell, that's over in Eastern.
Oh yeah,
she was a junior.
We know that name. Yeah.
Yeah, she was my junior, and that's one kid that I would love to have kids match her heart. You know, there was never a time where there's something that she was afraid to take on. I coached the 23. Here's a funny story. So I coached the 23U team and a bunch of college kids, and we were going down to play in the Stratford Briquettes tournament, and we drew them first round, and I was short on kids. Liz was in 10th grade. I brought a couple of my other high schoolers, and we beat the Briquettes 4-1.
Wow! Oh.
Yeah. Liz hit a home run that game.
Start calling you Lucky.
She was in 10th grade.
Start calling you Lucky LaHouse.
I know. Yeah, she was in 10th grade, and she hit a solo home run off the pitcher. And she's like screaming and yelling, running around the bag. I didn't have the heart to tell these guys that she was in 10th grade in high school.
I got to tell you bring up Liz Mitchell. I see her name in the Chronicle all the time, and she is lighting it up at Eastern. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, she like I said, she's all heart. She is not afraid of anybody. I don't care who it is. And in her mind, she's going to win that game. You know, it doesn't matter.
You got to be so proud.
And
you got to be so proud. Do you get up and check her out sometimes up there at Eastern? Or?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. No, and Julia Boy is over there too, and she was actually the leader before Liz. She was center fielder, and Julia, she's just good leadership. We have good leadership now too. So it's having those kids, and it's not like that your captain's like delegating and yelling at. It's like kind of like taking everybody under the wing. It's like, all right, guys, we're going to go do this together. That's the key, making everybody feel it's a family.
Well, Jan knows this too. Good leadership. Is it a testament to the coaches? That says a lot about the coaches too. You guys instill that leadership.
I appreciate that.
Yep. So you got Bolton. You got Tallinn coming up on Monday. You've won 7 of 8. I guess my last question is, Nick, did you have anything too you want to?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. What's the hardest part of coaching teenage girls?
Well,
put your phone down. Put your phone down.
Yeah, I know. A little bit of eye rolling.
Yes. That's a good one.
I kill them with dad jokes. So
Jan knows this too. Jan knows this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they're good kids. I mean, I'm lucky. I haven't had any problems. And it's just I'm blessed because of that, because I know how girls can be. I got 2 of them at home. So
yeah, I have one at home too.
Yeah.
Right.
Jan
knows too. Yeah.
I do. The eye rolling is right on. I'll even call him out on it sometime.
Yeah, exactly.
God, give me a break. I'm 60. I asked him who Fonzie was one day. None of them knew.
Yeah.
Do you do dad jokes, Jan?
Not really dad jokes, but I will make references that they just don't know. Like I mentioned Bobby Knight one day in practice. They don't know who Bobby Knight is.
You didn't throw a chair, did you?
No, just I like Bobby Knight as a coach. So
my last question for you: 7-1. I don't want to jump the gun. I mean, Jan brought up the first title in 23. I don't want to compare teams either, but you must have a good feeling going forward with this 2016, right?
Oh yeah. So like you had mentioned, the 4 teams you mentioned is kind of like everybody kind of figures that's the pool of the top teams. And here's the thing about that helps with success. One, and it's in your control, but it's out of your control. You have to stay healthy. Yeah. So, I mean, a couple injuries can literally just ruin your season depending on which position happens. You got to get a little lucky. You got to have a couple rolls go your way, And then the kids, they just got to be bought in, like you said, like you're saying, like after a loss, you got to rebound on that stuff. So, but yeah, it's, towards the end it's going to get real quick. From the quarterfinals on, there's going to be some tough games to be had.
Yeah, so, I think it's the best softball bracket. Really, is that Class S is going to be really, really super fun.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got up and out. You got Massac. That's pretty much just ruins everybody. Yeah. So it's like who's going to come in second to Massac, But S, usually there's like maybe 1 or 2 teams. But I tell you, these 4 teams that are up here, and there's a couple other sleepers that are. I mean, you probably throw 6 in the group.
Well, that's the thing. That's the other thing I thought you were going to say when you're talking about how tough it is that maybe probably not a first round matchup, but an early round matchup where you maybe run into just a good pitcher and just you got to hold serve. Yeah,
some of the toughest games we've ever had were quarterfinals. And we've gotten to semifinals, and they weren't as hard as the quarterfinals. It just depends on that draw,
Yep.
Well, we're glad we caught you on a off day because I know there's a lot of baseball and softball on Friday afternoon, so it worked out well with the schedule. But Coach Jeff Lucky LaHouse, that's my new nickname for you. No, it's not all luck. You're a heck of a coach, and keep
Thank
up.
you.
They're very lucky to have you. Very lucky. There's the word lucky. Keep up the great work, and hopefully we can get you on again soon. We do the show live on Fridays, and we also it airs on YouTube. So once the link is uploaded, I will definitely send the text over so you can watch it, and we'd love to have you on again soon, Coach.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome job, Coach.
Keep up the great work. All right.
right.
Coach Jeff LaHouse from the Coventry girls softball team here on the Duncan Friday Sports Scene on WILI. He was a lot of fun, huh?
Yeah, he was fun.
I love, speaking of softball coaches, earlier today I ran into Coach Pepin up at Dairy Queen. I had to get my Blizzard before I came down here. and I ran into Coach, I've known Coach, I've known her for a while. And I go, God, we got to get you on the show. But I go, do you practice at that same time every Friday? She goes, yeah, 2:15 to 4:30, I think she said. And I said, too bad we do this live because we don't have an opportunity to tape. She goes, no other day? I said, no, it's just Fridays. And then she said this. Actually, this might work out for you guys because she threw out the day May 8th, which is when I'm in Florida. But she may have an open window around the LEC, the Little East tournament time. So maybe I know we're going to get your NBA guy on too.
Yeah, no, that should be awesome to have on.
So maybe we'll line up Coach Pepin and Deion Sherman.
We definitely got to get her. If not, she's going to have to step away for practice for 15 minutes.
Well, last week we got Coach Odenwalder during a lightning delay, so we got a little lucky there. But thank you to two great guests today, Lou Merloni from Nesson and Coach Jeff LaHouse. In Coventry, where I know I've been saying it all day, it's like a broken record. All they do is win, no matter what sport it is.
LaHouse always wins, like at the casino.
Oh, look at you.
The one-liner.
They start calling you one-liner Nick.
That's a dad one, I think. Although pretty unique. Unique.
Jen, you and Coach LaHouse have a lot in common. You coach girls. You're a father. You're a dad. You're a dad of two daughters.
Yeah, right? One of the questions in my interview when I got the Plainfield job was, how am I going to relate at my age at 60 and really my first high school gig with teenage girls, and I kind of blew it off in the sense that I got teenage daughters. I've coached AAU forever. I know how it can be. And most kids want to win. Most kids want to play hard. You just got to nurture that. I will say this about Coventry, though, and he hit it. And when we talked basketball, he hit it a little bit, too, is just that youth program and running those clinics, because I plan on doing some of that this summer at Plainfield.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you have to. You really got to get – and that 8-year-old girl – does look up to that 17-year-old girl.
Oh, yeah.
Especially, and success begets success, and that's why it keeps happening. I mean, a bad season for Coventry softball, I looked at his history a little bit, is 14-6.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
oh my
state titles and state semis. And
coaches would want to kill for that kind of poor season, 14.
Of course, and it starts with the youth programs, and Coventry has figured that out.
They sure have. Now, also, you talk about the 8-year-old looking up to the 17-year-old, you being a father of 3. I know you have 2 daughters and a son, right?
Yep.
So tell us about, just to get about the daughter that coaches at the University of New Haven, assistant coach.
Well, it's funny.
She got into basketball early?
Yeah, well, we joke about it because my oldest daughter had very little interest in any sport, and I didn't push her too much. My son, I did push and try to make him do stuff. He hated it, so he gave up everything pretty much after 8th grade. And my youngest, Ariana, who's at New Haven now, she wanted to do what her brother was doing. So because I was kind of making him do some stuff, she just wanted to.
Really?
Yeah, and loved basketball from the beginning. We got pictures of her with a ball in her hand like at 2 or 3 years old doing some dribbling. And just, she kind of got like me, though, I think. Towards the end of the playing career, she kind of started to realize, what, I want to coach, and coaching's going to be better. And that's where she's at now, is coaching's better.
An assistant for a D2 program.
Oh, D1.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
D1.
right. I forgot they just won D1.
D1.
What, last year?
Last year. Last year was a D1
D1
year.
assistant coach.
Yeah.
She's taking it one step at a time, as we all like to say. Where does she want to go from here?
Yeah, she always thinks
to be head coach.
Yeah, she always thinks 2 or 3 years at a time. So there's no rush to leave. She's already signed for the next year, and we'll see where it takes her. I told her, and she knows that she's got to pursue this for as long as she can. And if she decides to, I don't want to say go backwards because high school coaching is awesome too, but she could always decide I'm going to teach and I'm going to coach high school, and she could do that for 30 years.
Sometimes you got to take a step back too. Just like in,
well, she will if she wants to pursue the college thing. She's got to stay there, but she can decide at some point if she doesn't want to. Is I guess what I'm saying. But yeah, in theory, she could be a head coach in 5 or 10 years and college and see where she goes with it. You got to love it. You got to love it, and you got to want to do it. And as of now, she does. So
she's got to look. She got to look at you in the season you had. She had to be so proud of you.
Yeah, she came to a few of my games, and the head coach at New Haven, Deb Buff, came to one of my games. Yeah. Unfortunately, it was the Morgan game, and we got it handed to us. But Deb was a good fan. She had her face painted and everything. So
that's
kinda
great.
Cool. Have a D1 coach in the crowd.
Hey, you won 20 games this year. You got nothing to hang your head.
Yeah,
I mean,
22-5. It was a good season. And next year, we've already said our schedule is. I look at some of these coaches like Coventry, and he tries to find losses. He plays NFA, who's double L, knowing he can win.
That's important, right?
Exactly. So I'll sign on next year if we have a much tougher schedule, win 12 or 13 in the regular season, but then be prepared for the playoffs. And that's what Coventry does every year.
Those measuring stick games, as I said, when I brought up the NFA thing, I knew exactly where you were going to go next because if you didn't ask it, I was going to ask it. NFA obviously plays probably they're a higher level up, right?
They're double L. They're the highest level.
So the fact that the Coventry girls team lost 4-3 is pretty impressive to an NFA team.
Yeah, they're not. Well, Coventry is a Class S school, and rightly so because of the size and the kids they have there. But they're not Class S athletes, it seems, in every sport.
Well, it's going to be fun to keep a close eye on this Coventry softball team as we're more than halfway. Right? More than halfway through the season?
Halfway. April, but they play softball and baseball. There'll be like 3 games in a week, and sometime you had a rain out or something. So it piles up quick. Softball and baseball season goes pretty quick.
I'm thinking college. College is actually heading towards a conference tournament, too. That's what Coach Pepin said. Little East is coming up in a couple weeks. So, again, it'll be the 3 of us next week. Week after, it'll be Nick and Jan, and hopefully we'll get Coach Pepin and a little Deion Sherman talk a little NBA playoffs. Big thanks to Lou Merloni from Nesson. Of course, Coach Jeff LaHouse from the Coventry girls softball team. Thank you to Jan and Nick, intern RJ, J-Matt Rupar, and of course, Matt's coming up next with Homegrown. Enjoy all the sports. Lots going on. Is this Kentucky Derby weekend too?
No, that's Mother's Day weekend. Next weekend.
What am I thinking? We're not
but
even
a lot. Hey, the draft, NBA, Red Sox. Yeah, we still got to watch.
And
April.
Listen on WILI. Red Sox, Orioles, 6:05 tonight. But yeah, Kentucky Derby's in May, Keith, not April. So I'm jumping the gun here. All right, thank you for listening. Don't forget the show, watching on the WILI Radio YouTube channel. Sometimes it's uploaded over the weekend. Subscribe for free, WILI Radio. Enjoy the weekend. It's 14 WILI Willimantic and 95.3 FM.